I declare the Housing Committee for consideration of the Housing Legislation Amendment Bill. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman. Thank you. The House is in committee for consideration of the Housing Legislation Amendment Bill, and the question is that Part 1 stand part. Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great to be taking part in this committee stage debate of the Housing Legislation Amendment Bill. I want to address one of the major concerns that we have on this side of the House with not only this bill but the whole special housing areas policy, and that is the very weak affordability requirements that are at the heart of this policy. And I want to address my comments to a couple of supplementary order papers that are on the table. The first is in the name of Materia Ture, and the second is in my name, sir, and both of them have make a proposal about how affordability requirements could be better incorporated into the Housing Accord and special housing area legislation. But I think it's important to understand the context of this, and the context is really a debate that we've been having in this Parliament for some time, really, about the best way to deliver affordability. Now, the Minister's view, if I may characterise it, and I invite him to take a call on this and put me straight if he wants to, is that that the only real way to deliver sustained improvements in affordability is by increasing the supply of dwellings in the market. And in a kind of innocent fifth form economics textbook kind of way, he rejects the idea that actually building homes that are affordable might help, and considers that to be, I think, an unnecessary distraction, and that really the focus should be on increasing supply. There is an irony that members will have noticed, that a minister who places such great store on increasing the supply of houses has so signally failed to do that during his time as housing minister. But what we have seen as the accords and special housing areas have been rolled out is that the first one, the accord with Auckland Council, there was quite a lot of debate about whether there should be, in fact, the ability of the council to require that special housing areas should have to deliver a percentage of affordable housing. And there was some pressure on the minister, I think, from within the Parliament, some pressure from Auckland Council, and I think at the last minute he conceded. I think it was that possibly in the committee stages or at select committee, he conceded that yes, the Auckland Council under that accord would have the ability to require 10% of homes in special housing areas be affordable. We've always taken the view that that's extremely modest, in fact far too modest, because the market on its own is delivering about 5% of dwellings, new dwellings, in the so-called affordable range. Students of history will know that only 35 years ago, actually the market was delivering about a third of all new dwellings in the affordable range. And that's one of the really crucial indicators of how badly out of whack the housing market's become, because so few houses are affordable, about 5%. So anyway, that was the situation with Auckland Council. In some of the other accords, Mr. Chairman, and I'm thinking particularly Tauranga, the Mayor and council officials directly asked the minister to insert affordability quotas into their accord so they could require a certain number of homes in their special housing areas be affordable. The minister point blank refused. He and his officials said, we're not interested in that. We're only interested in increasing the supply of homes. We're not interested in requiring developers to provide a share of new dwellings that are affordable. What we know, and this completely kind of busts out from the fifth form economics textbook from which the minister's thinking is derived, is that in a year 10, thank you, in an overheated, undersupplied market, developers will always choose to build more expensive dwellings because that's where they make bigger profit margins. And that is the story of Auckland in the last 10 years. If you look at the apartments that are being built in Auckland at the moment, 99% of them are at the luxury end of the market. Very, very few of them are affordable. Now, if the market was in perfect balance, if it was a perfectly functioning market, yes, the market would, Mr. Chairman, would respond to demand.
Mr. Chairman.
The Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr.